So, hello everyone. How are you all doing?
I'm fine. 1 second.
I hope you get well soon.
Mm,
So, let's start. Yes.
yeah.
So, hello, lovely listeners. How are you all doing? And welcome back to TLB Author Interview Series. It's the sixth episode of TLB Author Interview Series, and today we have an incredible author here with us, Kirame. So, first of all, Kirame, really a warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So, we are really happy to have you. So, could you introduce yourself before we dive deeper into the session and give us an overview about your book, Between the Lines?
Well, I'm Keira, and this book is book one in my trilogy. It's a trilogy. It was never supposed to be a trilogy, but it accidentally became a trilogy because it was supposed to be. A lot has changed since I wrote this first book. It was never supposed to be a trilogy. It was supposed to be a standalone, and that accidentally became a trilogy after my spouse said that I should make it a trilogy because people like to follow journeys of
Yes.
characters they already know. And I was like, no, it's going to be standalone. It's my book. It's my decision. And then the next day, I, I decided to make it a trilogy. I didn't decide. I slept on it, and then uh, certain plot twists happened in my head that I could make into a second book. So I was like, okay, this could be a trilogy.
Okay. That's interesting how you not wanted it to be a trilogy, but it's already a three-part series. So the title itself sounds like it has a layer of depth to it between the lines. And how does you made sure to make it relatable to the characters, the journey of the characters related to their journey, how the title is related to overcoming the themes of the book, you know?
So actually, the first title of the very first book isn't really relatable because actually it's very difficult for me to actually come up with titles in the future. I'm gonna ask my audience to help me come up with titles because I suck at that. I
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to come up with titles. Like everything is easy-ish. It's pretty easy for me to make characters and to write in general, but it's very difficult for me to come up with titles. So I'm going to ask my audience for titles.
They are always there to help you.
I didn't have an audience uh, before the first book, so I had to come up with it myself. And honestly, I was just writing a message to somebody, and I said that I I don't read between the lines. They said something to me, and I didn't understand what they said, and I said something else, and they were like, not important. But anyway, I was writing a message, and then I said that, and I was like, that could be a book title, and then it became a book title. And then to
That's
make it coherent, I had to come up with titles that also start with a B.
uh, that's funny how it how the title came into existence. So as it is a steamy romance, it is very crucial to find the balance between the storyline and the intimacy of the between the characters. So how do you determine the right level of intimacy? Because if the spice gets too much, it gets overwhelming for the readers, but if it is too little, it leaves the readers wanting for more. So how did you find that balance and made it feel authentic?
Oh, well, as I'm writing, I so there is this masterclass on Masterclass,
Yeah.
masterclass.com. I love masterclass.com. It's amazing. It's a subscription. I don't work for them, but I'm gonna praise them a little. It's like subscription based. You buy a yearly subscription for $100 and something, and they have a lot of master classes from very successful people, from actors, from Kris Jenner, from Timberland. Timberland, Christina Aguilera, and writers too. So they like teach you how to write. And there's this one writer that said like, if you're not having fun, readers will not have fun either, because people are
Yeah.
actually very smart and they can tell if someone's being authentic or not, and if they're pushing themselves to do something or not. Like I make content, and the videos where I'm not authentic, they actually perform really badly because I think people can tell.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
so when I'm writing a scene and I feel like realistically explicit, anything explicit just wouldn't make sense, because it just wouldn't. Like why would people in this situation would start doing something? I don't do that. But if I feel like it's progressing in a way that it would make sense, then I do it. Actually,
That's
in my second book, that it's actually a lot spicier than the first one. Not on purpose, it just made sense. But there's the latest scene. I did it without any graphic details. I just said this happened, but there's no graphic um, description of it.
that's interesting. But I think we readers are really, excited to for the explicit parts, and we are always looking forward to that because it is something that hooks a reader to the book,
Mm-hmm,
something that uh, connects on the personal level, right?
mm-hmm.
So, speaking about communication, which plays a really important role in the in between the characters in their relationship. So how did you make sure that connect the communication between Veronica and Caleb is also developed along with their personalities? Like both of them are very strong independent characters. It is difficult for them to open up, to show their vulnerabilities, to open up about their secrets. So how did you manage that?
Well, I have to uh, pretend in my head that I'm that character,
Yeah.
because because all of my characters have traits from me. None of the characters. I only have like two characters right now, but I'm gonna have more. But a lot of them have some of my traits, and even side characters too. And a lot of the things that happen to them is just fictionalized experiences that not a lot. There's one experience in the second book. It has to do with a dysfunctional family. It's pretty very fictionalized, but it is inspired by my childhood. So basically, I just pretend that I'm this person, and I imagine how I would feel and what I would
Yeah.
say.
Most of the authors do that, pretend to be their character. And I think we are going to get your glimpse in Caleb and Veronica for sure.
If
So,
there's a question from a person, do I respond to it?
of course, you can.
Okay, so why did you choose to write about both independent characters?
Yeah,
Well, because I don't want to write about weak characters. I actually despise weakness, and none of the characters I'm going to have in the future are going to be weak. Unless, no, no, just I really don't want to write weak characters. Because no, I really there's this going to be one book after this trilogy when the
yeah.
main male character is going to be weak. But it's just because I want to make him weak in the beginning to make him strong in the end. Yeah.
You mean the character development?
Yes.
Also, in our author of the week, once I read this about you that you don't like to make the characters, grow in poverty.
Huh?
It's something
Poor.
you
Poor.
like.
Yeah. No. No, I don't.
Yeah, yeah. That's something. So what is the reason?
Oh, because I
Why do you
grew up poor.
want to be? Huh?
I grew up very poor, and
Yeah.
poverty is like a very painful part for me. Like I absolutely, I grew up like in insane poverty, so I'm not gonna make my characters poor because it's like I just don't want to live through it again.
Yeah. So a lot of your life experiences are related to your book, I guess.
Mm.
So I'm really curious about your writing process. You know, as English is not your first language, so for all the authors, aspiring authors who are watching us, they uh, who who don't have English as their first language. So, what advice would you like to give to them, or about the challenges you faced while writing?
Well, I wrote this uh, article on Medium.
Huh?
It's the link is on my website, but you have to go through the web to the website to get the link, which is a lot of work. So I'm actually gonna make a post today with the link because this article that I wrote it talks about my journey with this foreign language because I only speak two languages: Russian, which is my native, and English, and I liked English since 5 years old. Just randomly, I liked the way it sounds. I was like, this is the best language I've ever heard. I'm willing to trade Russian for English anytime. So I just started learning it with all the resources that I had. I didn't have many. Netflix didn't exist at the time. Also, since I grew up in poverty, I didn't have good internet, so I couldn't watch shows because the internet was bad. So like I had to find like what I could do, which wasn't a lot at the time. So some books maybe that I could
Yeah,
find, Twilight, simple books. So then, like I think at the age of 12, I got better internet. So and also there is this there this website um, made by Russians. It's not technically like it's piracy, but it's not because it's for educational purposes. So legally, it is okay. But it has all the shows from HBO, from Paramount Plus, from Netflix, from all the streaming platforms. So this website, it's made by Russians, and it has all those shows. But since the website is made for English learning purposes, it's
yeah.
legal. So before Netflix existed, I was watching that because it has this built-in feature. So you hover over a word, and when you hover over it, and then you stop on the word, you uh, you see translation.
Oh,
So
that's
I
that's
used
good. One of our viewers want to compliment you. He says you don't sound like English isn't your first. So yeah, it really doesn't sound like English isn't your first language. You are very fluent in English.
the amount of effort I put. I have an accent, just which is also fixable if I would put effort into it. But I didn't put any effort into my accent, which is fine. Um, but yeah, the amount of effort I put into learning English to this level has been insane because I always wanted English to be my native language because I liked it so much. Yeah.
Okay. I love your accent though.
Thank you.
I really love it.
Thank you.
So,
And personal question: you said you have a partner. Do you get the idea of romance from your life? No. Everything, any steamy scene I ever written is fully my from out of my head fantasy. Mm, Nothing from my life. There's going to be one book after this trilogy that's going to be very loosely inspired by something that happened 5 months ago in my life. Very loosely inspired and very heavily fictionalized. Um, but besides that, most of it is fiction. And thank you
okay.
for the excellent comments. Actually, when I was very little, 12, up until the age of 18, I was very shy about my accent and I couldn't talk and I could write really well, but I could never talk. And then I,
But the efforts you put are really incredible. And you can see the result. You really speak so well. So, moving ahead, as you know, the setting of your book is like the backdrop of lives of Caleb and Veronica. Uh, how does it help to shape their relationship, their personality as an individual? How does it affect it?
I'm sorry, I was reading the
The back, the backdrop of both Veronica and Caleb's personalities. How did it shape their relationship?
their personalities. Well, there's a lot of, because she's like a busy career woman,
Yeah.
and he's like, be with me. There has been a lot of push and pull because his presence distracts her, and she's like, I'm busy. He's like, well, unbusy yourself because I like you. So there's a lot of that.
Okay. So, in between the lines, you have chosen traits which are more, typical traits like witty banter, he falls first, and morally gray male lead, which
Yeah,
is
I have to
it
attract
is
people somehow. I'm not doing it with my cover, so I have to
you
attract them with my
you
tropes.
really did it well because these are the tropes which like widespread and readers really love these tropes. So why did you choose to go for tropes more common than going for a few unique tropes?
Because I have to attract people with things that are already famous. Because my cover, uh, the book is here, so this doesn't look like romance at all. There is no man on the cover, there is no naked man, no couple, nothing. You look at this and you don't think this is romance, some thriller maybe, I don't know. So, but like, so I have to attract people somehow. So I have to attract them with tropes because I'm not attracting them with my cover. Because all of my cover are always going to be like conceptual, abstract, conceptual cover. Um, so and then people are attracted. I know that naked men sell really well. Just can't do it because it's my brand.
Yeah. Okay, we have more questions coming up. So, one of our viewer want to ask, what emotion for you was very difficult for you to write? Was it jealousy, possessiveness, or something else?
Jealousy and possessiveness aren't hard for me to write because I am jealous and possessive. But any type of like being upset,
Oh,
because I'm very rarely upset. So, or not, I'm upset, but I just get angry when I'm upset. So, like being actually sad and upset is very difficult for me to describe. I just have, the only words I have is, oh, I'm sad. Mm.
yeah. So, guys, you can share your questions, all of you.
What was
So, yeah, one more question is, what was the most challenging part of writing this book? Yeah. What was the most challenging part for you?
challenging part is that I don't have any time. I wish that I had a day, a week to just sit and write and do my things and make content, but I don't have the time because I have university to finish, I have an internship to finish, and then another job, and then this, and then I want to release all of the entire trilogy until the end of the year. So I just don't have the time. That's the challenge.
And still you make sure to give us this wonderful book is thank you so much for that because I'm going to grab this copy and I'll definitely read it. And so moving forward to our next question is what message do you think your book is giving to the readers, what can we see the message of the book or lessons you wanted to convey through your work?
Well, in this first book, there's not, actually, the second book is offers a bit more depth, and then the third book offers a bit more depth. But main topics is female friendship and and female friendship. There is a really serious female friendship, and it's gonna be there throughout all three books. And also my brand for the future. I only have one book, but I have like 8 works in progress. So my very important part of these this entire career that I'm going to build
Yeah.
is strong, properly strong female characters. Not Disney kind of strong, like oh I'm strong, but like properly strong female characters that can stand up for themselves. And since I read romance, and in romance it's popular, especially in spicy romance, to this like there's this body betrayal trope, like the man is
Yeah.
so attractive and it's like oh my god my body betrayed me. It's probably not gonna happen in my books because it's not consensual. No, it's consensual, but it's not consensual enough for me. Body betrayal,
Okay.
but I know that it's attractive to a lot of people.
It is for more. I think many of the readers, they find it attractive. So it's a very personal. My personal question is, I'm really curious to ask this one: is who is your favorite character from the book?
From my
Someone
book,
who surprised, yeah, or someone who surprised you throughout the like writing journey.
from my book, favorite character from my book, from
Yeah,
this
yeah,
book that I have.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There is this character, her name is Fiona. She's not the
Yeah.
main character, but I like her a lot. She's
So
annoying, but I like her a lot. Uh, I I don't think anyone cares about her from the readers, which is a pity because I like her a lot, and I was hoping other people will also like her, but it's not the case. No one ever commented about her.
okay. So you don't choose any of your main leads to be your favorite.
No, not really.
Okay. So any more questions, guys?
There's a lot of questions that I have to answer
Okay.
because I skipped them. So somebody said,
Why did you choose
beautiful.
to write? Yeah, yeah.
Who's your favorite character from the book? Oh, we just,
Just
I not gonna say that. Do you
covered
ever
that question.
feel it's getting too hectic? Should I stop it? How strong was your thoughts on for the characters to continue? No, I don't. I never feel like I should stop it because I get a lot of motivational videos in my Instagram Reels feed from celebrities and successful people, and they say that consistency is very important, and you have to believe in yourself, and also you have to be obsessed with what you do, and then you'll succeed. And I am obsessed with what I do, and I have to make it a full-time career because I couldn't do anything else because nothing else interests me. Everything that I have in my life, school, job, some other bullshit, I don't care about any of that. The books is all I truly care about. I don't care about anything else. I wish none of that existed. So yes, the only thing that bothers me is all the other responsibilities that are in my life. I wish they weren't there. They're not going to be here next year. I just need to survive this remaining 3 months, and then it's going to be a lot better. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So a question everyone is curious about is, what are we getting next from you
Wait,
other than
someone said
other
we're not
books?
audible.
Oh, we are not audible?
Yeah, none of your voices are audible. Ah,
It's
oh,
audible. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. We can continue. So yeah, what everyone are everyone else is curious about is, what are we getting next from you other than the three-part trilogy? What else are you working on?
The books.
Yeah.
So after the trilogy, there's going to be this book. It's going to be a standalone. Mm, it's going to be about like a male stripper, uh, like a struggling actor that's also a male stripper, and it's gonna be about a woman who's like a movie director assistant, and she like meets the stripper, at a theater where he's performing, and she's like, oh my god, she's looking for someone for a very important role, and she can't find anyone because no one fits the vibe. And then she sees him, and she's like, oh my god, this is the one. But he's very insecure, and
Okay.
he and she's like, come with me and be the actor. And he's like, no, I wasn't meant to do this. I don't have the skills. I'm not gonna say no. And she's like, say yes. You're that like that's your destiny. And he's like, no, blah blah blah. And then he agrees eventually, and then things happen. Yes. And
I
they're not really.
like how you imagine it.
And then
Your imagination is really wild.
yeah, it is wild. This book is this is the one that's based loosely based on my on this one interaction I had, and heavily fictionalized. So it's gonna be unique because it's not like it's inspired by an experience I had with this one person who hopefully will never find out.
Okay. So our audience is already excited for your next book.
Mhm.
Oh. And lastly, is what advice you want to give to the romance writers, who are just starting to write the romance genre, and what obstacles you faced while writing romance, or something specific you want to tell our writers that they should keep in mind while
To
writing
be honest,
a romance.
I'm still really tiny. I just started. I only have one book. Um, but I think it's very hard for me to give advice because I'm just still so tiny. So like I'm not at a level where I can teach someone. Reading for this standalone more than trilogy. Thank you. It's gonna be very easy to write because it's based on my experience. I don't have to invent much. Something. Um. Oh yes.
Yeah.
So I guess the advice is to be her yourself. Oh, and like to be authentic. I don't have much struggle with writing itself. I have struggled with making content because in order to make good content, you need to be authentic, and I'm a little bit afraid to be authentic. So there is that, and I don't have, yeah, but also I think to be very open minded because
Yeah.
originally I wanted to write just smut, just smut, no plot, just smut. That's what I wanted originally on the first day. But then
Yes.
on the second day, I actually realized that I want to have deep relationships between characters and nothing superficial. So, uh, and now my third book, actually, the third book in the trilogy is going to be the least spicy.
We are looking forward to your future projects, especially the standalone. I can't stop thinking about it. Okay, all the questions I wanted to ask to you. And guys, if you have questions, like how do you write the novel's lines? Like how is your literature so good?
How do I write the novel's lines, like sentences?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, oh, I don't know. It's very difficult to say because I just sit down and I think and I imagine myself as the character, and then I imagine what they would be thinking, and I write that. I actually suck at explaining like surroundings or anything that's not feelings and dialogue. I suck at. For example, like she went there and then there's room was like I suck at descriptions of the streets, room, anything really, any
Yeah.
venues. I spent like maybe 3 sentences explaining the venue or wherever people are because I don't care about that, quite frankly. It's a bedroom. You can imagine a bedroom. But what I'm really good at and what I really like is dialogue. I love dialogue. and feelings. Feelings and dialogue. Feelings, thoughts, and dialogue. That's it. Everything else is a struggle. It's a struggle, and I have to uh, uh, put a lot of effort into describing anything that's not thoughts, feelings, and dialogue.
I think it is quite difficult for everyone to, create the environment, appropriate environment for the scene. So yeah, one of our viewers is asking, what is your favorite quote from the?
There was also before that, do your characters talk to you?
Yeah.
Not to me. They talk to each other in my head. So when I try to fall asleep, for example, and I can't, they talk to each other in my head, and I have to get up and write it down. So I normally have my laptop next to me, so I can write it down. And sometimes when I'm on the public transportation or in school, listening to a boring lecture that I don't want to be listening to anyway, I start wandering off in my brain and kind of writing the book while I'm doing something that I'm too bored to do. And then I write it down. So they talk to each other in my head, but they don't talk to me.
So you basically write it down whenever you get a
I write
thought
it in
or
my
something.
head, and I have to remember what I've written here in my head, and then I have to put it to my Google Docs. I wrote
So
this whole Medium article in my head, and I was writing it for 2 weeks in my head, and then I was putting parts in my notes, and then I put them all together.
it's really, not easy to remember everything. Even I can't remember the thing I did in morning. I can't remember it now. So it's really incredible that you remember in your head. And also, there was one question about your favorite quote or from your book.
There was also how has your writing evolved over the course of your career? I don't have a career at the moment because I just started. I'm a very baby writer, to be honest, right now. But it evolved that I wanted to do pure smut, and now I want to do sophisticated romance. So I'm not gonna call it smut anymore. It's romance. And
Okay.
then someone asked
Any
why
more?
I choose to write both the independent characters.
Yeah.
Because I really like independent characters because I mentioned that I really like strong characters, and all my characters are going to be strong. They're just going to be mentally unstable and strange and weird, but they're going to be strong. Strong, but weird.
Okay.
Your favorite quote from the book? I don't know. I don't know. I can give you like maybe someone else's favorite quote if you want, but I don't have. No, actually, there is a quote. It's from the second book. I will have to tell you the quote from the second book because I don't have any quotes from the first book because I don't really know. I don't. But there's this quote from the second book. Just hold on. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, so this male character, Caleb, tells Veronica that I would never do anything to harm you. I would harm other people for you. I think it's pretty cute.
Oh, that's that's so that's so sweet.
Mm, I thought so.
Oh, yeah. I think I read it. I saw your post from a book club maybe or something. I don't know. But I read it just before this interview.
Which post?
Any more questions?
Oh, there's any favorite chapter from your book? Very hard to remember the chapter numbers. Oh, actually, no. Let me go. Let me check.
Okay.
Very difficult. I don't really remember much about the books that I've written past the point that I've written them. I've written them and then it's done.
Oh, you can
But
also
I don't.
a scene that you love or most like the scene.
Okay, there's this chapter 20, chapter 14. Yeah, chapter 14. Yeah. So there's this Caleb comes to her because he can't wait for her anymore. So to come back to him, so he comes to her house. Yeah.
Oh, that- okay, guys. I think that was all for today. We'll stop it here, and it was really pleasure to have you here. It was really such a, it became more of a chit chat session actually.
Mm-hmm.
I
Is that common?
I never yeah, I never thought of taking interview like this, but it was really nice to have you.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the listeners who stayed with us, thank you so much for joining us. And you all can go and grab your copies of Between the Lines and do share your reviews. And also, thank you, Author Kia, for joining us. And yeah, that was all for
Thank
today.
you.
See you
Thank you. Have a nice day.
next time.
Bye.
Bye. Nice day.